Hi and welcome back to Tales Against Humanity, r// I don't work here lady. In today's episode, Blabbermouth repeats what I say, incredulously. I don't work for the shopping center, I'm not employed by them. Do you want a job? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Blabbermouth repeats what I say, incredulously. I am a vendor for a specific brand of grocery retail. Although I am stocking shelves at a given store with the brand of merch the brand makes, I am not employed by the store itself. Lots of brands of frozen pizzas, snack cakes, beer, wine, chips, energy drinks, sodas, snack crackers, pretzels, cookies, and more have vendors who stop into certain groceries on a route, stock just their specific brand, and then leave to go to the next store and stock just that brand there, etc. This was one of my first of the incredulous types of IDWHL people I have encountered, who will repeat what you say to them as they walk away melodramatically, and then complain about you to someone else. Although it is a pretty brief encounter, I still remember this real special Blabbermouth each time I encounter another one of his kind. I was kneeling down stocking a low shelf of my brand of stuff, when a tailish man whips around the corner pushing his cart toward me from the opposite end of the aisle, with that look that he's going to ask something. Now, 90% of the people who ask me questions are looking for something that isn't my brand, so I get IDWHL moments all the time, but most are pretty ordinary oops sorry with no drama involved, and I'm preparing my Swiss Army list of deflections. Blabbermouth then proceeds to open up into a miniature rant about how he has such trouble finding helpers in this place which is clearly beneath him, and without letting me get in word in, demands that I tell him where we keep the peanut butter, as he's already pushing his cart past me and out into the main aisle to turn whichever direction I say. I was half expecting him to ask where the limousine service is, to ferry him to each aisle. Since he's clearly in a rush and not interested in the minutiae of why I can't help either, I just say, that direction I think. A few aisles that way. He turns his cart that direction and pauses, and in the most melodramatic tone, he slowly repeats back to me what I said, That direction. You think a few aisles this way. I imagine him wobble his head like a woman with bouncy hair, at the end of a shampoo commercial, flicking away a cluster to the side as he traipsed away. In the most high-horsed snob tone he bellows for any passing peasant to hear, unbelievable the people they hire in this dump, and I call out back to him. I don't work for the store, bub. I later see him with a small entourage of actual employees crowded around him, as his loud voice carries, and he catches eye of me and stops mid-sentence from his surely fascinating story, and then resumes his story in a much quieter tone. I catch the eye of a manager later, also still with him, as I'm leaving to hit my next route stop. The next day, that manager approached me when I came in that store for my stop again, and asked if I was rude to a tailish man with a loud voice. I explained our brief encounter, and the manager relayed that he himself had the honor of explaining what vendors are to Mr. Blabs, and not to worry about it, that these uppity types occasionally reduce themselves to stopping in among the heathen, to get whichever item their usual uppity store, I stock those too, is out of, and then proceed to trample the peasants in his path and raise fist and chin to the air for not getting flawless service. The manager told the Blabbermouth to treat all of the vendors just like any customer because they don't have knowledge of the store as they just stock their one section. With the way these incredulous types view the regular patrons as gutter trash already, that might not account for much, but cheers to him for sticking up for me at least. I don't work for the shopping center, I'm not employed by them. So for some context, I work in a toy shop which itself is located within a shopping center. I think the US equivalent is just called a mall, while I am an employee of the toy shop. I am not a member of the shopping center staff, I just simply work within it. So this story happened last year around late October. I was worked the late/closing shift. Things were rather quiet, which I assume is due to the impending lockdown the following month. I'm just doing my own duties when this guy walks in. Thankfully he was wearing mask, he did some browsing, picked a toy and came to checkout, when it came to paying, the first attempt declined due to what we assumed was using the contactless feature for too long, and just needed to do the chip and pin thing to make sure the card was still in his possession. It's a security feature with contactless cards. Anyways, the transaction also comes up as declined, so we figured he did not have enough money in his bank to pay. He whipped out his phone, saying he can transfer the funds to his bank using PayPal, as he had money on there. This is where things heat up. I'll write out the conversation as I remember it. The guy: I can't connect to the Wi-Fi? Me: no, sorry about that, the Wi-Fi for the shopping center has been having outages all day. The guy, who is now glaring: well, can't you go fix it? Me: I cannot, I do not know where the hub is for dealing with that sort of thing. The guy: how can you not know? You work here after all. Did they train you on this place's, the shopping center's, layout? Me: I think you misunderstand. While I work in this toy store, it is for this company. I am not employed by the shopping center itself. They have their own staff. I'm sure if I'm cut off here. The guy: what a load of S***T, you just want to be lazy, so you can finish your shift. I know you close soon, what is wrong with you? I was stunned, truth be told. While I've dealt with people like this before, this one caught me off guard, probably because of how chill he was when he first walked in. I never thought he could just turn instantly. The guy: you are useless. How about you stop being a lazy F***K and go fix the F***King Wi-Fi? Me: I told you before, I can't. I'm not a member of the shopping center staff I work for. Cut off again. The guy: bulls **T. It was at this point my manager came to help when he heard the father getting loud. Manager: hey, what seems to be the issue here? Everything okay? I just gesture to the guy to go right ahead. He goes off on one, saying how I'm lazy and incompetent because I wouldn't do my job and fix the Wi-Fi. After a few minutes of listening to the guy's complaint, the manager, like a champ, just comes out and says what I was saying: he works for this toy store company and not for the shopping center. He cannot fix the Wi-Fi issue, nor can I. You will need to wait for the shopping center staff to fix it. The guy just couldn't seem to process it. He stared at the manager for a few seconds before just turning around and leaving in a huff. I can only guess that since TWO people told him the same thing, then he was in the wrong and didn't want to own up to his mistake. Manager made sure I was okay, and even took over closing the store doors, so I could have a few minutes to cool off before tidying up the store. One thought that occurred to us both afterwards is that why didn't he just use data? Surely he must have had mobile data? That, or he ran out and was relying on the shopping center Wi-Fi. But yeah, that's my story as best as I remember it. Do you want a job? Hello fellow subs. This one's a little long, even though I removed all the dialogue to help shorten the story. Anyways, this happened several years ago, while I was shopping where they wear blue shirts and have a nerd platoon. I'm in the computer accessories section looking for a DVD-RW to replace a faulty one and some extra RAM for a kick. I am, however, not dressed in any way like the indentured servants scurrying around the floor: black leather bomber jacket, black t-shirt, black jeans, black steel-toed boots, and look like I just got off of a motorcycle, which I had. In fact, a rather imposing figure if met in a dark alley. I shop here often and know several employees and a few managers. While reading the back of some box, I notice a little old lady, 90-ish years old, 630 in dog years, and maybe 80 lbs/35 kg, soaking wet, glancing between blank CDs and DVDs. Back and forth through the section, she would pick up a container, carefully looked at it, put it back and grab the next for careful inspection. I didn't really pay much attention until I hear her sigh, not the typical Karen get your coaster over here and help me, but more the final resignation of utter defeat. Okay, that got my attention. I ask if I can help. She quickly gives me the once-over and paused for a moment. For a second, I thought she was gonna call security, then nearly pleaded with me to find what her granddaughter wanted for her birthday, a PC with a DVD-R. I briefly explained that what she's been looking at are blank discs and not PCs. A PC is a full computer. Her blank stare spoke volumes. She told me she had waved down a few blue shirts, but no one responded. I said, "That's no problem, what does he want? Let's go see if we can find something for her together." I hold out my arm for her to take, and we round the corner to the laptops and PCs. I get an idea of what grandchild wants. A laptop is what I gathered, and poke through the models on display. We pick out one and I pull the little slip she'll need when she goes to the nerd desk to pick it up. I walk her to the counter, she thanks me for being so polite and kind, to which I blame my mother for the upbringing, smiley face. I go back to shopping for the drive and RAM I need, find them, and head over to check out. I pay and walk to the door. The burly security guy stops me, like everyone else, and looks in my bag and checks my receipt. Just as we're getting done, I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's a store manager I am familiar with and the little old lady. He recognizes me and asks if little old lady's story is correct. I ask for clarification, not wanting to jump headfirst into a potential shark tank. He relays how I helped her when no one else would. I guiltily nod my head. He tells me this is his mother, and the PC is for his daughter. She wanted to surprise both son and granddaughter, so she didn't seek her son out for help, apparently not considering an employee discount either. Well, anyways, he just wanted to thank me for taking the time with his mother. No problem, I said, again blaming my mother for teaching manners. He then asks if I would like a job there. While growing up, we've all hoped some corporate bigwig would single us out and offer us some big-shot executive position that doesn't need a lot of input yet pays a boatload. This was not what he was offering. So I politely declined. Get to help someone spoiling their granddaughter? Count me in. I know, not the juicy rant about entitled Karen nor typical tech tale. Hope you enjoyed it anyway.